The other day, I made a tweet that rightfully made a lot of people upset. Admittingly, this tweet came from a lapse of weakness. You see, I had a pretty bad day playing multiple games of League of Legends by myself, where people were just being mean every chance they could. Some games people inted, some games people rage quit, and honestly, it was just a dire day on the Rift. My emotions took control. I was at a low point, and so I let my Twitter fingers fly and I tweeted this. League of Legends is outright vile right now. If you don't have 4 friends, I recommend you play any other game that exists. Pretty sad to see how bad it's become, but also sad knowing it's only going to get worse. Now, obviously, this tweet was received from both sides of the fence. We had people saying that I was just being emotional and wrong. People claiming that it's just me and it's never happened to them. And then we had about 5,000 people that agreed. Now, I'll be honest, I'm pretty headstrong. But though I have conviction in my takes and the things that I do say, I try to listen to everyone just the same in order to stay grounded in reality. And so I came to the conclusion that maybe that was just a bad day. Maybe it was abnormal. Maybe playing League of Legends by yourself isn't actually that bad. And then on stream, I decided why not try again. I locked in Gangplank, a champion that I've never learned, and I got into the worst solo queue game of my entire life. The game started off with something I've only heard about in Legend. My jungler, an Ivern main, posted a link in Champ Select that led to a very descriptive PDF file on how to play around him. Look at this. Look, I wish I was making this up. This is real honest to God. Right there. Look, it's right there. He said this to me. The teammate's guide to Ivern, right? Ivern don't need leash. Daisy is a beautiful golem that will help us get many kills. After attacking an enemy 3 times, she will knock them up, and then it's game over. If you ever teleport on Daisy, I will buy roamers and run it down mid, so don't fucking test me. Thank you for reading the presentation. I will be active with pings, but I usually run team chat off for my own sanity. As a reward, please have this Ivern Crisp Apple TM. Do not ask where I get... The game starts off as most games for a first-time GP does. I get 1v1'd in an early skirmish by the enemy top lane Akshan. Normally, this is a pretty bad situation, but don't forget, this is League of Legends we're talking about. So I TP back on the wave and redeem myself via taking advantage of his brain going AFK. My pet Ivern jungle pings for help as the enemy Lee Sin is trying to counter him, and thus, being the good Samaritan and teammate that I am, I rightfully go to give him a helping hand. After a not so hard fought battle, we kill the Lee Sin and immediately the enemy Kog'Maw shows up to redeem his fallen comrade. My Annie unfortunately didn't have the money to pay for the minimap DLC, and therefore she is completely oblivious to the troubles of the world and stays mid. This situation was fortunately remedied by the fact that the enemy Akshan had no map either. I head back to my lane only to see the enemy Lee Sin in my Tribrush. Now for those of you less experienced solo queue players, this right here is called a duo ward. Because there's no way in this hell or the next that a jungler would ever pink ward for a top laner unless they were a duo. After barely surviving the 2v2 skirmish, I try to finally get some CS because I'm level 2 at 5 minutes, sharing EXP with my jungler all game. The plan would have been successful if the enemy Nunu didn't gank top at level 3 and one-shot my tree friend. Thankfully, Lee Sin saw that I was getting depressed and decided to stand in for Ivern and grant me some company as well. They eventually gave up and allowed me to CS a wave before Akshan murdered me by simply being a newer champion. I respawned and ran to Herald to help out my Ivern, and remember very quickly that I am laning against 2 people. Holy shit, dude. Oh, I'm dying for nothing. I'm dying for nothing. I respawn again, run back top, manage to get my first wave of the year before Ivern begs me to help with yet another Lee Sin jungle invade. At this point, the right decision would be to concede, but realizing that Ivern's mental is about as strong as Annie's map awareness, I know that he'll run it down if I do, bringing me to my 4th death in 10 minutes. I come back to lane, and the Akshan, who is now fed enough to retire for the rest of the game, almost kills me in our trade. I go back to my tower to heal up, and realizing that I'm lonely, Lee Sin shows up to kick all of the teeth right out of my face.
You have
Like, I need to play the game. I really just want to play. Like, that's all I want is to play the game. Yet again, I respawn, bright-eyed, excited to start a new page on the Rift. But on my walk, I realized that I forgot something in hell. And Lee Sin, being the good friend that he is, sends me right back to pick it up. What did I forget, you ask? Well, I forgot to remind you that the majority of the people watching this video aren't subscribed. This game was sheer torture, but not as much torture as missing banger content, am I right? So be sure to ring the bell as well so that you can stay up to date with all of our daily content. I love you if you sub, I love you if you don't, now let's keep going. I get some CS, start to scale a bit, and almost get a kill on Lee Sin. But the gods thought that that would be too much fun, and therefore I get kicked away into an Ashel, into a Kog'Maw. Finally, the game starts to progress. I split push for a while in order to make back all of the money and sanity I lost in the early game. And I even get a few kills whilst also whiffing a few ultimates. I missed! I missed! Oh shit! Ah! Oh God, why? Why, dear God? Oh Father who art in heaven. Heck, I even got a 1v1 on the Lee Sin, which felt pretty damn good. But unfortunately, whilst trying to secure a dragon, Ivern and I got blown up by every single person on their team that somehow realized that dragon was coming up. Really wish the game added timers for that sort of thing. And finally, even though I got camped, even though I got ganked 100 times, even though the enemy support was top more than he was bottom, and I was literally unable to farm, the Annie decides that this is her moment, and not mine. So she has a literal mental breakdown in chat, and then rage quits. I would say GG, but I would be remiss in calling this good. Or even a game, for that matter. I'll be honest, it was such a bad experience that I found myself smiling for the majority of it. And that's when I realized that there's a lesson to be learned here. Sure, we play League of Legends to practice, and sure, we like to win. But is that really what League of Legends is about? Is that really all there is? I mean, if anything, this taught me that I should look at things differently. League of Legends isn't about victory. It's not about playing well, tryharding, working together, or even smiling. Playing League of Legends is about being yelled at for just existing, for being blamed, for being camped, for being given unfair disadvantages and then getting shit on for not succeeding. League of Legends, in its essence, isn't about building up. It's about getting knocked down. And if that's not magical, I don't know what is.